All hail Biafra. This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please like, share, and comment.
I saw this particular video no forever now of na Yukubu at EZE or Garagidi one of an Igbo. Yes, I saw the video yesterday in the night on a trendy all over social media space where he actually hosted the president, President Bola Tinubu, na his house in Abuja. So we're seeing that this is a very huge one, and I hope and believe that he actually also discussed MAZI Nnamdi Kanu among everything he discussed. Because if you're not Obi only Bonile now, any Igbo person if you're not inside his mind now, first thing he got to go there, we go free MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. So only Bonile with her conscience be a man for such. Because MAZI Nnamdi Kanu not that place because of us. So this is another big news we are seeing this morning. I don't know how true or how new this video is, whether it's an old video or a new video. I'm at home. This was how I saw it. I'll still play you guys the video after the big news updates we have this morning from the NMA. Finally, MAZI Nnamdi Kanu's medical reports have been submitted as required by the court. The last court sitting in the court in with the full details of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu's health issue. Yes, so and the update from your screen, if you know from Punch News, if you know the NMA conducts court order, checks on Kanu, submits the report, date 6th October 2025. If you go to know current news, so can you tell me the updates? Go see where the in from your screen, the update said on Sunday, being yesterday, the NMA Secretary General Ebo said the evaluation had been done as ordered by the court, adding that the report had been submitted to the Attorney General of the Federation. Alright, Ebo said the court gave an order that we should do it, I think, within 8 days, and immediately the Department of State Service wrote to us. We summoned a commitment of 7 doctors with 1 coordinator, making it 8. Alright, we had the 7 doctors from the 7 geopolitical zones of Nigeria with different fields of specialty in ophthalmology, neurology, urology, gastroenterology, and other various areas of specialty. Urology, I carry on ife.
God have mercy upon us.
Anyways, the dated day for the sitting of the KANU'S next court hearing Gabu 8. 8 is just 2 days from now. I think it should be on Wednesday. I need Nanya and believing that date would be actually kept, and MAZI Nnamdi Kanu will appear. I will be no. The last court sitting Agaro, the court's Justice James Omotosho actually said that there is no proof that the rendition of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu was illegal. And they also asked the NMA to submit a medical report to them. So they have actually done all the checkings on MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. And according to the news is that they have submitted it to the Attorney General of the Federation. So we are hoping and believing that the next court sitting now on 8th, we are hoping to see the outcome, go see we play out. Unumana Legati MAZI Nnamdi Kanu during that last court sitting actually said that now since court said that now Hamagi that now the rendition of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is illegal, that now Hamagi this is put evidences even from the Kenyan courts. I mean to prove to them that now Ibu Batamadu I mean, through the night from another country to another country is actually illegal. So has not had with that evidence in court. Now the next court sitting, agaga. So a whole lot of drama garden at the next court sitting. I got with I don't know update as it unfolds. We are looking up to what is actually going to actually play out. Ezbo Lanya anyways. That MAZI Nnamdi Kanu game where after all said and done. We hope and believe that will be done. So I'll play you guys this other video from our trend. I just saw it. So can we tell you how to go watch ya? I don't know.
But if you leave the legalities aside, this is the sort of thing that stokes political tensions in society, and it can trigger a nasty diplomatic brawl with Britain. You forget Nnamdi Kanu has a second nationality of United Kingdom, and this kind of gives you a deja vu back to 1984 when Nigeria attempted to rendition Omar Diko, and it led to countervailing consequences. 4 persons were convicted and jailed in UK. The Nigerian aircraft that was going to be used in the interdiction and rendition was itself interdicted in Britain and seized. And Britain broke up diplomatic relations with Nigeria for 2 years, and so on and so forth. And here we are again, several decades later, in a democracy, engaging in conduct that exposes Nigeria to diplomatic sanctions.
Right.
It shouldn't stand.
Okay, so now, what exactly does this discharge of Nnamdi Kanu by the appeal court, what does it really mean?
What it means
for the whole agitation for the Southeast?
Okay.
Does it mean that Nnamdi Kanu, in the event that he's actually granted bail or allowed, to go,
this is more than
will
bail.
it put an end to agitations for Biafra?
This is more than bail. Bail can come with conditions. If you're granted bail, you are still a ward of court. You may be required to report to police station, report to court, confined in a certain geographical area, but this is a discharge. A discharge means you're as free as any one of us sitting here. No hindrance of any sort should be placed on you, including your ability to travel within the territory of Nigeria and outside of it. Okay. So there is no condition at all. And what it portends for the for the agitation for Biafra is what you're asking about.
Right.
Well, let's come to that. Since when did self-determination become a criminal offense? I don't think the Court of Appeal would have taken the action he took if he considered it for one moment that MAZI Nnamdi Kanu committed any offense whatsoever, and not of the heinous types that the federal government is accusing him of. Why are we prioritizing punishment, suppression of an enterprise, an activity called self-determination that is protected under the laws of Federal Republic Nigeria? You can check it out. You don't have to take my word for it. Article 20, African Charter on Human and People's Rights, passed by the National Assembly in 1983, protected self-determination for all people. As a government, you can say no, but by all means, you shouldn't punish it. You shouldn't penalize it. Even if it is inconvenient to the government, you should consider it a political opinion, and you should not try to suppress it by means of punishment of some sort.
Right. There are calls for a political solution.
Yeah.
Some Southeast leaders are also saying that, look, if with this ruling or judgment from the appeal court, it will bring back some level of peace to the Southeast. And my question is, what will that political solution look like?
First of all, let me commend everybody that has made a statement tending towards that direction of restoring peace and security in Southeast. That is a very responsible statement to make, and I would call it on the federal government to look seriously into statements like that. So now, talking about political solution, agitation for a separate state is a political question. It's not a legal question. It's not. You can never win sovereignty for a new nation in a court of law, but you can win it across the table of political negotiation. So when someone rises and says, I want out, I want a separate state, he's actually calling you to the table. Because if he can obtain a separate state by the snap of the finger, he doesn't need to talk about it. He'll snap his fingers and the separate state will be thus created. But when somebody says, I want a separate state and I want to get it through the means of referendum, he's actually calling you to the table. So what is preventing the federal government from coming to the table to discuss this political question of separatism or a separate state for Biafra?
And that brings me to my question, because you did earlier say that, you know, if the government continues to hold your client, then it smacks of persecution.
Yes.
What do you think, if you could hazard a guess, what do you think the government is worried about or is concerned about should your client be released? And I also want to ask you, what is the mood of your client, especially after this decision reached by the appeal court yesterday? Did you speak to him?
Yes, I did. I know, not after, not post-judgment, before. I was the only counsel that met with him yesterday. Others, you know, deployed themselves to court. So I was with him till almost 5 p.m. at DSS, waiting to see whether we can get news of the judgment, so I could be the first to give him post-judgment legal advice. But it didn't happen, so he dismissed me. I went home. I'm sure wherever he is now, he's happy, and he's expecting that the government will do the right thing by opening the gates of DSS and permitting him to go home. So, but that is a supposition. Okay. So the other part of your question is what I missed.
What do you think is the concern of the government?
Okay, well, I touched on this issue briefly. It's very concerning and a bit puzzling that the government of the day should prioritize those agitating for self-determination as the #1 enemy of state. They shouldn't be at all, not even #1. The #1 should be terrorism. The government should be asked that question. Why are you prioritizing agitation for a separate state over terrorism? I mean, you're here permitting. Okay, we heard that today the National Security Council met over this matter. Is the National Security Council the Supreme Court? Why should the National Security Council consider itself to sit in judgment over the judgment of a properly constituted constitutional court in the land? So these are the things that are more worrisome to me. Why this priority? Why this undue attention? And that is being removed away from the #1 things that are dogging the society. #1 is terrorism. And the other day, you had a jailbreak at Kuje, and National Security Council didn't meet over it. Tales of Boko Haram people were released into society.